Hey Argentina! Happy Father's Day, even though none of us are fathers. But today is a day to celebrate our fathers and just to thank them for all that they've done in our lives. For, taking care of us when we're little, for bringing home money to support the family, just being around. And yeah, today's about fathers and just being thankful for that. And so I hope you guys have been saying thanks to your dads. And I haven't done that video yet, but I hope to get it to me to say thank to my dad. I'll do it right after this to say thank to my dad and having some sort of celebration. Me and my dad are gonna have a ribs, so asado dinner, Canadian version tomorrow. Or today, when we go eat after church, we will have our own dinner. He's making it though, because my cooking is really bad. So he's making his own Father's Day dinner. But that's okay, because we'll just still celebrate together. Yeah. But anyway, today I wanted to share a quick short passage because I know usually you guys have a lot of festivities going on Sunday for Father's Day, like gifts and stuff. I know like children's, you guys always make some sort of gift for dad, right? So it'll be a very quick message today. So I want to share a passage with you from Luke chapter 15, 11 to 24. Lucas chapter 15, 11 to 24. Okay, so again, as usual, if you could pause right here and read that, Lucas 15, 11 to 24. So this passage, as you can see, is about a father and a son. And I think most of us have read this passage before or heard of it somewhere. The father is, as we can, if you haven't guessed already, is representative of God, and the son is represent us. So as you see, this passage starts where this man, the father, has an inheritance or a property as a life, a saving, right? And the younger son goes up to his dad and says, "Dad, give me my inheritance or what you owe me." And what that means is like, he's basically, it's actually really rude. He's asking the dad to give him all the money that should be his after he dies. So if you think about it, like it's supposed to be like, when your parents die or when we die, we write a will, right? And then the lawyers will open that will after the person has died and share the money. And so this son is asking his dad for the money that he's supposed to get, because like if the father loves him, which he does, to get, but right now the father's still alive. So imagine if you went to go up to your dad and be like, "Can you give me all the money that I'm supposed to have after you die?" That's like super rude, right? So this son is asking a really outrageous question. And what's going on is, if you think about it this way, God had always given us what he wanted to give us. He created us, he made us, and the man, remember I spoke about this quite a few weeks back, but the reason why God created us in the first place was he loved us so much, he wanted to share with us himself and the goodness of himself. And so he created us to experience all that was good. That was so good, actually. So when we think about it that way, it's kind of like we ask God also for something, like for what God has given us, his goodness. And here the son is asking, "Give me all this that should be mine," even though really dad didn't have to give it to them, right? Like it all belongs to dad. So likewise for our lives, when we think about it, like for us, we're asking God sometimes, like this, if we were the son in this example, it's like, "God, give me everything that belongs to me. Give me my life. Give me the goodness that you gave me, and I'm going to go use it for however I want." And that's exactly what happened to the son. So the son goes in verse 13, the son goes off and then he squanders everything. Basically, he rejects the father. He asks everything away. He takes everything that, like all the stuff that God had given him, the father had given him that doesn't belong to him, and uses it for himself, hates the father, and rejects the father completely, and turns his back. So again, the first action of asking the father, "Give me everything because it should be mine in the first place," is just outrageous and so hurtful to dad. It'd be like, wow, what? Like, I will give it to you, but why would you ask that? I love you and I want to give you things now, but you're making it as if I'm dead. And Sue, now that he's gotten everything, he's completely turned and never talking to Dad again, turned away from Dad and living his own life and actually wasted it all. And I think sometimes what we don't realize is that's exactly us. We take everything that we think is our life, the skills that we think is ours, but really in the end of all, it's God gave it to us. He made us. He's given us blessings like our family, given us their hard work to give so that we can study and we can learn. That, you know, being in Argentina, all of it is not because of ourselves, but it's actually given to us by God. And we take that and we live our own lives apart from God. We reject Him. We turn our face away from Him. And we try to look elsewhere. We look everywhere else to find love, to find goodness and freedom. And again, it's where God had given it to us originally, all this goodness, all life, to be with Him, because He is the answer for these things. He is the true things. And yet we reject Him. We are just like the Son. But how does our Heavenly Father, how does the Father react? Right? So let's see. The Son he realizes he's wrong. In verse 19, man, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like he just realizes in the end of the day, like, I'm out here. Like, my father, even like the worst of it, like when the slave of my father had it better than me eating like pig's food. Why am I here? It's almost as if like, if God had created me to be with Him, why am I trying to find satisfaction or love and deep, like, why am I trying to find my meaning and purpose elsewhere? Where even just a little bit of where God will satisfy like my deepest desires and yearnings. And so He realizes this, and that's part of our journey too. We need to realize this, that we need God, that what we're looking for is really God. And here He realizes this, and He comes back, man, like, I know I'm not worthy. I've messed up so bad. I've done so many things that have just been like a slap in the face to the Father, right? Like asking for the inheritance, like when He's alive, slap in the face, taking all of what God has given me and like spending it and destroying His, like, you know, if you imagine we hurting ourselves, destroying our body, doing all sorts of things that just hurt a Father that loves us because we're hurting ourselves. Who am I? I'm not worthy to be the son of God. I'm not worthy to be like someone or daughter that God would love. And though this was Him thinking, but He returned. And while He was far away, this is like the best part of this, 20. While He was far away, the Father saw Him. And this is what God is like this Father. And it wasn't just like, He had compassion. Remember what I talked about last week? Jewish people don't run. It was undignified. It was it meant desperation. And you know, if you're a man, you're not desperate. You have things controlled. You walk and you want to be like firm and in control. But when you're running, you're desperate. You're really wanting something, and that's like, oh, you don't do that, right? Like that's not so cool. It doesn't look like you're strong and man, you know, that makes you weak, or like you're not powerful enough, you know. But this Father, this is what God did for us. He took he didn't matter. I love the Son so much, God said, I'm willing to do anything. And He ran towards Him and hugged Him and kissed Him. And when we think about what God does for us, those who ran away, who've sinned, Jesus came and left that throne. He was creator of everything. He is God. He left it and died a sinful person's death so that we could be with Him. This is exactly what it's talking about. It's no more, it was undignified. It was weak looking. But that's what God did. This is our Father that loves us to that extent, that he would run, that he would die on the cross for us so that we can be back with him. And what does this Father say? This amazing Heavenly Father that we have, right? In verse, and he's just celebrating. God is so happy. It's crazy the amount of love that God has for us. Verse 24, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And they began to celebrate. How amazing is our Heavenly Father? A God that wants us to be a part of his family, that loves us so close, like a father to a young son or child, that would die for us and be so undignified, and he becomes so unworthy for us. And we can be alive again in him. We can be found in him. We're no longer lost in our life. We're no longer meaningless and purposeless because we are found with our Heavenly Father where we were designed to be. So today I wanted to encourage you that, yeah, we celebrate our earthly fathers, which is really good. And we should, because that's a gift that God has given us to have earthly fathers. But don't forget our Heavenly Father and what he's done. May we be even more celebratory or happy and thankful and praising our Heavenly Father for what he has done. And this story today, this Bible story, this love story that God writes for us is showing himself. This is the Father I am to you, to his people that he created. So remember today, as we finish off, that our Heavenly Father is someone who loves us this deeply. So celebrate how good our Father is, our Heavenly Father, and how good our earthly Father is too. Have a great day. Have a great celebration. Bye.